So what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is what is wrong with CRO, conversion rate optimization. What's the alternative? How to make it work, and a 5-step plan. CJO in action, and I'll let you know what that acronym is in a second, and some key takeaways. But first, a quick question. So think about your journey to the event today. Rate it out of 10. Have a hard think. Raise your hands if you voted it a 10 out of 10. Any hands? No. Oh, one in the back. Oh, Jay, do you live upstairs? Is that how you got here so quickly? So, you got here, okay? But your journey could have been better. We've all come from different geographical locations. We've all heard about the event from various different things, whether it's email, whether it's your Magento account manager, or it's a partner. But we all still got here, right? So Magento are excited that we're actually converting. So what I'm going to talk to you today is the digital equivalent. So a bit about us, who I am, why I'm here. So as just mentioned, I'm Daniella. I'm the Global Partnerships Director over at Yieldify. And who is Yieldify? We make it simple for e-commerce brands to deliver customer journeys that actually convert, right? We've got our head office over in London, an office in New York, an office in Sydney, and I've got my fantastic team here from Sydney. We've got Enzo heading up the APAC, Nick and Ed, and we've literally just got on the ground here in Singapore, which Kim is now heading up. 2 weeks old, guys, 2 weeks old, everyone. And over the past 5 years, as you can see, we've reached some very significant milestones. Whether it's the billions of data interaction points that we've captured, over 30 billion to be exact. And with those data-driven points, we've managed to influence over 73 million sales. So what are we? We're very much a combination of technology and services that's understanding where your consumers are coming from, why they're on your website, what they're looking at, and how we can deliver a seamless customer journey to drive that end conversion, get them to come back, refer friends, and repeat purchase. Okay? We work with over 500 brands across the globe, some of them being obviously Magento clients, hence why we're with our partnership, such as L'Oreal, whether it's Ouidad or Feel Unique. But we also work across the travel, finance, and insurance space. Anyone with an e-commerce platform that wants to understand more about their consumers and deliver fantastic customer journeys. On top of that, we also want to make sure that we're running seamless integrations, right? With a supercharged stack, for example, this is just what I call it, marketeers should be investing in these 6 key areas, right? You need to be investing in your e-commerce platform, hence why you're at Magento today, hence why we integrate with Magento. You need to be integrated with reviews, payment providers, affiliates, analytics, emails. Some of our other co-sponsors and partners that are here today, Mailer, and also Bronto. We've got Jay sitting in the back of the room that's looking after APAC. Give us a wave. Fantastic. So you've really got to start focusing and understanding all the elements of what a customer may interact with, right? So it brings me on to today's conversation. What is wrong with CRO? What is wrong with conversion rate optimization? It's good, right? A lot of us are KPI'd on it. They are objectives. When I worked brand side, it was very much, what are we going to do? How are we going to drive a higher conversion rate? Of course it is. Of course it's good. But it's an oversimplification, right? Think about this. So hopefully these 3 consumers resonate with the marketeers here in the room. We've got a returning customer. We've got a returning visitor. And we've got a new visitor. So that returning customer, they come onto the website, they go to their wish list, they search for an item, they add it to the cart, and they make a purchase, right? Same with a returning visitor. They go to the category page, they browse 5 products or so, add 1 to the cart, maybe abandon for a couple of days, and they return and make the purchase. And then you've got your new visitor. They dwell on the home page. They search around for an item, They add to the cart, may abandon for a few minutes or so, and they return back with a promo code. As mentioned earlier, Nicholas is that promo hunter. He puts items in his cart. He abandons for 24 hours, waits for the promo code, and then comes back. We don't want promo hunters, but they inevitably exist, right? Our consumers are ahead of us. We need to let the data do the talking and understand. I cannot kind of express enough. You've got to understand where they're coming from, who they are, and what they're looking for, and how you can add value to that, right? So at the end of that, everybody made the conversion. But the job was done, I suppose. Every customer seemed to be happy. We're all happy because they made a purchase. They converted. But their journey, if you think about it, it wasn't really that easy. So let's take a second look. So that returning customer, they were actually disappointed to see that their wish list was empty, and they made a lower order value. We don't want that. Yes, we want to get them to convert, but we don't want them making lower value purchases, right? That returning visitor, they were unsure they were getting the best deal. They might not return again. And then that new visitor down below, they went looking for that promo code, and they won't come back until they get that discount, right? You're all nodding your head, it resonates. I'm glad. So only optimizing that end result means that you really do lose sight of the journey and optimization, right? So conversion rate optimization for me means you're only focusing on one goal. It means there's a line of best fit to get there, right? And it can compromise your customer experience. I think marketeers of today are so tunnel vision focused on basically as soon as a consumer adds something to their cart, we've got to fast track and get them to make that purchase. But that's not necessarily what they want, right? They expect you to understand where they're coming from. So what is the alternative? You've got another acronym coming up. Of course you do. It's CJO. What is that? It's Customer Journey Optimization, right? You're using a data-driven approach to improving the whole customer journey to get more conversions. So we're still striving for performance, but in a much better and educated way, and letting the data do the talking, right? Don't just take my word from it. This is a case study from Adobe, which says over 71% of marketeers say CJO is very important, right? Over 50% of top-performing companies are more likely to have well-designed journeys. And 22% of well-designed journeys help businesses exceed their goals by 22% versus 14%. So just think about that for a moment. What are you doing to drive a better customer journey for your consumers? What are you doing, right? Your customers want it too. You've got to listen to them. This one here, give me relevant recommendations I wouldn't have thought about myself, right? Know me, no matter where I interact with you. Throughout today, the main theme has been about personalization, seamless integrations, understanding where your consumers are coming from, whether it's a Google ad, a piece of social activity, whether it's blogging content, whether they're new versus returning or VIP customers. They expect you to know who they are, and they expect you to give them the experience that they need and they yearn for, that they get when they go into one of your stores. Bring that in-store activity online. Make your online as human as possible. Right? It's all about the right message at the right time. So we also ran our own internal survey with over 1,000 shoppers. And we said to them, what do you expect from us? Right? What do you expect? And they said, well, over 63%, so not all of them, 63% of customers expect brands to know how they prefer to interact across channel. Right? So what is it? You've got to stop focusing on the conversion, ladies and gents, and you've got to start focusing on the journey, right? Let's go back to those customer journeys for a second. So not all visitors are created equally, right? You've got to sit down and identify those key segments. Look at your data and understand, as I mentioned, where are they coming from? Who are they? Are they new visitors who have yet to convert over 4 to 5 times? Are they first-time customers? Are they loyal VIPs? Right? Or are they just window shoppers? Identify what those segments are for you. Depending on your vertical and what you're trying to achieve, They'll all be very, very, very different. So this example here. This returning customer we've identified is actually a loyal customer. The returning visitor is a comparison shopper, and the new visitor is super price driven. So what we've done instead is we've said to Mrs. Loyal Customer, look, you find your saved products and recommendations based on your previous purchase when you come back onto the site, because before your items weren't saved in your basket because we didn't know who you were. We didn't know you were a loyal customer. And this time, as opposed to making a low value purchase, they've purchased 2 items. It's about going back to basics, ladies and gentlemen, and understanding when you interact with your own sites, whether it's on mobile, desktop, or tablet, if you can't navigate around your own website, how do you expect your consumers to do so? And how can you go back to your board and say, I've driven X amount of conversion uplift? You just can't, right? You just can't. Flip it the other way around. If your conversion rate sits between 2 to 8%, you're actually hemorrhaging 98 to 92% of your traffic. Don't be happy. Don't be happy with that. Strive for better, right? Same with that comparison shopper. What we've done this time is we've shown the best price guarantee. As they go to leave that site, it's no, don't go anywhere else. We know we've got the best price guarantee. You better buy from us today because you're not going to get that anywhere else, right? And what happens here? That person is entered into a nurturing sequence on site based on the products of their choice. Same again with that price-driven consumer. They add to their cart, and this time we put it into email. This is where our ESPs, our email service providers, come into play. We bring that on-site to off-site and back again. It's welcome back, Claire. We know what you've just seen in that email, and based off of that, we're going to move you around that website, okay? It's constantly changing. Various different tracks, again, based on those persona segments. So optimizing the journey still yields that conversion by giving that customer a better experience, the experience that they need and they expect from you. So how to make it work? A simple 5-step plan, because I don't have enough time. And yes, all this information is completely free of charge today. Like any journey, I go back. It starts with a map. If you're anything like me, I'm actually pretty useless, so I've really got to define out what my map looks like. So at first, you need to take a segment, identify who those personas are, start at the very basics, new, returning, loyal, and then go much more granular once you've got that data and you're working with people that have the capabilities of mapping out those segments for you, right? Map out every single interaction of that journey that they have with you. What's the traffic source? What's their geographical location? What's their spend? What are they looking at, right? From there, score those interactions. Work out what the ideal consumer journey is for each and every one of those personas so that you can predict and convert them as they move through your site, right? Identify those moments that will make a difference. So they are called the moments of truth. For me, they are the aha moments, that moment when you're like, oh, I need that. I'm buying that today. And if I don't buy it today, I'm not going to have it tomorrow. I need it, that fear of missing out. You need to map out those moments because those moments are the moments you need to optimize, okay? So there's going to be various different challenges. You've got to overcome those silos in the first place. You've got to get that data in the first place, get all of the internal teams together to hash it out, and you've got to score those journeys. It will take time. This isn't something that is an overnight fix. It doesn't happen that way, right? So let's see some of it in action so I can actually physically show you what it looks like. So to give you some context, this is a client of ours based in London called Huey London. Hardly ever worn it. To give you some context behind the brand itself, they came to us wanting to identify more about acquiring new customers, increasing average order value, and reducing site abandonment. Monthly uniques for a site of this size, again, to give you further context, about 300,000, and an average order value of £3,000, so quite high-end luxury, right? But what they didn't know was that when new visitors arrived on their site, the consumers didn't know where to start. There was huge bounce rate. Imagine the product range of hardly ever worn high-end items that they have on a monthly basis. It's a hell of a lot of product SKUs, right? So what we did was we said, hey, based on the data that we have, the billions of data interaction points within fashion e-commerce and luxury e-commerce, we know that when a visitor comes on the site who is new, that they need inspiration. So what we've said is, hey, Claire, we know that you're a new visitor. would you like to see this month's favorites? Oh, yes, I would. She clicks through, and now she can see absolutely everything that they've got in this month's favorites. She then so happens to click on a Chanel handbag, and again, what we've realized, so the consumer has been dwelling on this page for over 30 to 45 seconds, right? And what we know is now a lot of consumers want to browse by the rest of the product. So what we've said is, hey, Mr. Consumer, would you like to see what else we have from Chanel? This campaign alone drove a 27% increase in conversions by just highlighting at that right moment, taking that heavy lifting away from the site to say, hey, I know you. I've seen this behavior before. You want to see what else we have by that product? So yeah, of course she does. She clicks through and now she can see everything we have available from Chanel. And in this case, unfortunately, they've decided not to purchase. So as they go to leave that site, we want to take some information from them. So you want to be capturing first name, surname, email, postal code, zip code, telephone number, whatever information is relevant for you to play with off-site, to then get them back on-site, right? So this will seamlessly integrate straight away into the email service provider. In this case as well, you'll see that we've offered actually an incentive for a first-time visitor. We actually A/B tested this with this specific brand. In some cases, first-time visitors are good to incentivize. But in this case, with Hardly Ever Worn It, we proved that the consumer was going to make the purchase without giving away margin. So in certain instances, you need to test out whether a returning visitor, who's yet to convert maybe after 4 or 5 visits, needs that little kick, here's £20, make the purchase. Or they don't. Right? So you constantly have to A/B test and optimize that journey, okay? And when that consumer comes back onto the site, that's a completely different message. It's welcome back. Here are our latest arrivals. Would you like to take a look at this? Yeah? Does that make sense? Fantastic. So what are the key takeaways? Firstly, conversion rate optimization has evolved, and it has evolved into CJO. Customer Journey Optimization. Better journeys mean more conversions. Understanding your consumer is going to get them to spend more money with you, drive them into lifetime value, get them to repeat purchase, and refer their friends. Because at the end of the day, that's a marketeer's dream, right? Consumers doing the selling for you. And 3, use your 5-step plan to map, prioritize, and optimize. Okay? So any questions? Don't be shy, ladies and gents. You've got me for another 10 minutes. No? Oh, question at the back. Yes, we do. So the best thing to do would actually be catch up with Enzo here straight after the talk, and he'll be more than happy to talk you through what we can do in those specific markets. Anything else? No problem. If you're a little bit shy, don't worry. We're only next door. We've got some sweets, so you can nibble on those whilst you chat through. Come and speak to my team or grab me at the end. Thank you very much, ladies and gents.